excited about it, and the video getting the attention that it got and the amount of interaction in the comments. I think it's fantastic. If people don't like what we have to say, that's fine. Like you said, we're just two guys that made a studio.
However, I didn't process that we never mentioned in that short reel that it was Are You Afraid of the Dark? And that the episode was a tale of the dangerous suit. There's so much occult symbolism in television and Hollywood and all of the different things. And I totally myself.
But but interesting enough, I've always wondered, what the heck is that eye all about?
Welcome to the Lunatics and Legends podcast. Eddie, take it away.
You son of a gun. We have Ted Kanto in with us. He was actually the first guest that we had on the show, and largely an inspiration in us actually putting together a podcast as we did his course, Men to Kings, at separate times. However, that's where Branden and I ended up becoming friends and doing a podcast together because of Men to Kings. Ted, we always love having you in the studio. You're a brilliant mind. You've done a ton of work in the realm of masculinity, and we're always happy to have you back on.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So out the gate, let's just address it. We had a video go viral yesterday where we were talking about conspiracy theories and a goofy connection between Nickelodeon and Adrenochrome. That's awesome. Currently at 778,508 views, and we grew thousands of followers in the span of 24 hours. We're absolutely beside ourselves right now. It just blew us away to realize that, this little channel that is just two friends producing it and doing all of the things that we can, editing, like we are a two-man show. Any edits that are on videos aside from the short form, that's Branden. And we're just burning the candle at both ends to get content to you guys. And I went through and I read every single comment that was in there, even the gross ones and the racist ones and all the name calling, and it made me laugh. However, a lot of people were talking in the comment section about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And yes, I remember that scene where he's talking about Adrenochrome in that movie. And, some people were rude about it and was like, yeah, well, it was in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, you dork. And I'm like, actually, it was in Hunter S. Thompson's Where the Buffaloes Roam. But, whatever. There were a lot of different references that were made in there. And I thought it was fascinating. There was people talking about how you can make Adrenochrome out of epinephrine or EpiPens. And there was somebody that got way too detailed about how you can freebase it. And I was like, yep, we're deleting that comment. But I mean, there were comments about different music, Neil Young and the Golden Compass and Dark Crystal and all sorts of different musicians that have referenced Adrenochrome. And apparently, it's been getting referenced since the 60s. And some people were in the comment section saying like, hey, look, it boils down to the fact that like it's really easy and cheap to make. Why would they need to do all these things that have been associated with it? And I agree. And so it kind of made me like think like, well, why would they then go to that extent to extract it in the way that it's claimed that they extract it, right? And I think it's just, if that is a real thing, allegedly, I think it would be some type of cult or, dark side satanic practice that would lead them to want to extract it in that form.
Yeah. I mean, just for a little clarity, all of these conspiracy theories, like for me, these things are just entertainment.
Right.
As I was telling you and sharing with you earlier, Ted, like I don't really care for sitcoms, television, these things. I find my entertainment level when I'm prioritizing time for entertainment in all the different conspiracies. It's fun for me. I don't know or care if any of them are real. I am not pushing on anybody that I think that these things are real. It's fun. around why, around the question of like, why would they do that in the 90s? Like, what would be the whole process or the purpose rather of creating this episode, and then also creating this episode in a way that says, hey, we're finding ways to extract this. I mean, maybe there's nothing there at all. Don't know. Maybe there is something there. Yeah, people are right. Hunter S. Thompson did write about it. In my drug-addled days, I loved Hunter S. Thompson. I read everything many times. Don't really remember it because, well, I was
living the life.
Yeah, entirely right in the middle of Hollywood doing it. And so, yeah, there's no doubt it has been talked about by a lot of different writers. Take it all the way back to the 60s, like you said. It's all there. Cool. If you want to dig into the conspiracy theory, that's great. The fact that people were that excited about it and the video getting the attention that it got and the amount of interaction in the comments, I think is fantastic. If people don't like what we have to say, that's fine. Like you said, we're just two guys that made a studio and decided to do a podcast. There's no money behind this. There's no production team. It's just whatever people get is just whatever you and I happen to do that day.
Yeah.
And I love the enthusiasm. I enjoy the negative comments or the ones where people are like really frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm glad people are that fired up. That's great. Be fired up. Cool. Tell us all about it. If you know something more about it than what we're sharing, cool. Share that too.
Yeah.
I'm not spending lots of time reading about Nickelodeon and all of the dark things that are around it, right? These conspiracy things, I watch this, consume some of this, and then I move on with my life. So I am by no means any kind of an expert in any of the things that I talk about. I'm just a guy talking on a podcast.
Right.
That's it.
Well, and there was somebody that was like, how dare you, say this thing in Nickelodeon, but you're not going to tell us what show, not going to tell us what episode. And I ended up writing this person personally and was like, hey, look, it's just Branden and I doing all of the things. And we plugged the video into Opus Clip. Shout out if you want to give us free time, Opus Clip. However, we plugged it into Opus Clip, and Opus Clip chopped that up. And I cut out some of the uhs and, stupid noises that were being made. However, I didn't process that we never mentioned in that short reel that it was, are you afraid of the dark? And that the episode was a tale of the dangerous soup. Okay. So there it is. Stop coming after me in the comment section. Or go ahead. Just make sure that it's over 6 words. So that way we can actually get the comment counted. However, I've studied the algorithms.
Please go off in the comments. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I wrote her personally and was just like, hey, look, it's just the two of us. Like, I'm the guy who was talking, sorry, we threw it through Opus Clip. However, it was, Are You Afraid of the Dark? A Tale of Dangerous Soup. Go
watch it. Enjoy.
Right.
Have fun.
Right. It was just a fun little conversation that was spurred by me laying there and going, oh, wow. I remember this episode of a show from when I was a kid. I think it was Are You Afraid of the Dark? And then I started messing around with AI to figure out which episode it was. And I watched a whole separate episode that was terrible. However, I found the proper one and I watched it and I was like, yeah, I mean, they're pretty much talking about Adrenochrome. That's crazy. And so we had fun with the conversation. It definitely inspired me to think about more content kind of in that range. And for a very long time, many, many, many years, I've owned a book that talked about occult symbolism. And I think that we should talk about that. There is so much occult symbolism in television and Hollywood and all of the different things. And I totally myself deep dive on that and go down, YouTube and Facebook rabbit holes on that type of content as well. Just all the, all seeing eyes and, all the goofy things. But I mean, like I've watched like hours worth of documentaries on the movie Eyes Wide Shut and like the symbolism behind that and what it really means. And I find that to be fascinating to understand that you could be consuming so much content. You have no idea what's being implanted in your mind.
I agree.
Nice. So Ted, do you find a lot of occult symbolism in finance?
Yes. No, I don't. Not really.
Not really.
But but interesting enough, I've always wondered, what the heck is that eye all about? I don't know, honestly, but I've always and I've never, even though it intrigues me.
You mean this eye, Ted?
That eye, the one that's on the dollar bill.
What's really cool is that was not in your shot, so everybody has no idea what you just showed him.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say.
That eye, Ted.
Wow, that is a tattoo right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that eye, it depends on, again, which school of thought you're from. However, it's supposed to be the eye of providence. And that represents God's intervention in man, like existence of man, right? The divine path. Are you tired of big corporations farming you for views? So are we. We're just two poor guys that are trying to put together a podcast. So if you can give us some help by doing a like, share, comment, subscribe, or save, it helps us trend in the algorithms. Thanks.